Live from New York. It's a show that's preparing to reopen Club Superstar. Security is in the building. The bar is stocked. The lighting is here, and the disco ball has fallen.
The first Club Superstar we did was 4 months before we came back in studio.
Yes.
It was in the morning. This is the 5th edition of it. And this has what I would consider maybe the most shocking ejection from the club.
The door's tighter. A lot of clubs, get a little looser with the door.
The question is, how does he treat the elders?
At a club?
Well,
gotta go. You don't gotta
I know
go.
the elder. I know.
It's
Gotta get out of
the
here.
whole Brew gets.
Old guy in the
Can I
club.
tell you something? Brew might be an elder. He gets right into the club. With the last club I was at with Brew, there's a long walk around line. Brew acted like he didn't even see it. Walked in, wife, daughter, son-in-law, everybody. Walked right on in.
The clutch part.
Right, exactly. Walked right on in.
We are starting, what a story. Sorry I missed yesterday's show, but we're starting New England. After a Super Bowl blowout and a scandal-laden offseason, the Patriots franchise had good reason to be crestfallen. But then a call from Philadelphia. Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished. When I was at testimonial that he was ready. Odds to win the AFC. These are updated odds?
Yes.
Pretty low.
Yeah.
For the
Fourth.
defending conference.
This is pre-Wild's take. Ravens, Bills, Chiefs 3, Patriots 4, Chargers.
Just ahead of the Chargers.
Who we beat. I mean, that does make sense. We beat those other two teams.
Ahead of the Broncos too.
Honestly, if I was,
I assume the
The
Broncos.
Broncos got to be a little
I'd be upset.
salty.
They're
not
not
even in
getting
the
one.
graphic.
Okay. Does the AFC run through New England?
Absolutely not. I like the move.
All right.
I think it's a good move. I think they paid a little more than you wanted to pay because you didn't want to pay a first, but for some reason, because it's a 2028 first, people don't care as much.
I'll be here.
Exactly. Like, who knows? Maybe the NFL changed the rules by then.
With AI,
NBA
Oh,
changed the
gosh,
draft.
be lonely with a robot.
But I think that this is, at the very least, in the short term, a net positive for the Patriots. Now, by the time that 2028 first-round pick, whomever that is for the Eagles, is playing real snaps in the NFL, will A.J. Brown still be an elite receiver? I don't know. So in a few years, maybe the Eagles will be happy they did it and the Patriots potentially won't be. But in the short term, I think this helps them.
Yep.
But I think Vegas is correct in that for a number of reasons. One is, just for us at the table, I personally would be, and maybe you guys feel differently about the Chiefs than I do, more shocked if the Ravens, Bills, or Chiefs missed the playoffs this year than the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I would be more shocked by either of them. And I know the Chiefs just missed the playoffs. I get that, so you might disagree. But especially given the fact that it looks like Mahomes is on track to be healthy-ish, at least to start the year, those three teams, even though the Ravens and Chiefs, I guess the Ravens also missed the playoffs, both had down years, I would be more shocked if they went 8-9 and missed the playoffs, and if the Patriots went 8-9 and missed the playoffs. I also think that the track record of making the Super Bowl and not winning it, if you haven't won one before, is not littered with teams that got right back there. In fact, the last 8 quarterbacks to make a Super Bowl and not win it when they hadn't won one before, the only guy who
hadn't won one before.
Yeah, so Brady and Mahomes lost and got back and won. Manning lost, but he had already won one. I only did the last 8 years, but we could go back the last 30 years, and we haven't had a quarterback lose their first Super Bowl and ever get back to it.
Wow.
And so,
Other than Hurts.
yeah, right, other than Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
He's
the only one in 30 years?
Only one to make it. And prior to that, it was Jim Kelly who just kept making it but never won one. Hurts made it and won it. Yeah. So do I think there is? And again,
That's like very QB specific.
That is QB specific.
But not like coach specific. You could take people off.
No, not really. They made it, but they didn't. Yes, you could. The Rams, because the Rams made it and then lost and then made it with a new quarterback.
Yeah.
The Niners made it and lost and then made it and lost again, but with a new quarterback. I just think, Brew, it is certainly on the board that the 2025 Patriots are closer to the 2015 Panthers, who had an MVP at quarterback and lost Super Bowl, the 2016 Falcons, who had an MVP at quarterback and lost the Super Bowl, who were then good consistently for the next few years, but didn't get back anytime sooner in those two cases at all. The Bengals, that's been more injury-related to me, maybe, but so I just don't think making one Super Bowl means definitively the conference runs through you.
You definitely got better.
Thank you.
Obviously, he's a great receiver, and you needed like a true bona fide number one, and you have it. All right. That said, Nick is absolutely right. Absolutely not. It does not run through you guys. And here's the thing. Last year, I'm going to talk about the schedule. Last year, you played 3 teams in the regular season with winning records. You lost 2 of them. This year, you got 11 teams on your schedule that had a winning record last year. And one of the teams that doesn't have a winning record is the Chiefs.
Okay.
So, and then your first 4, now Pittsburgh I think you'll beat, but the first 4
They're
are
underdogs
teams with
in
winning
3 of
records.
those 4. I looked this morning.
Yeah, so I think the Patriots had to get better, and they did, I believe. They had to, though, because of the increase in the schedule. Now, AJ, look, I think, like I said, it was a great pickup, but Drake is going to have to get used to a receiver that is like maybe badgering him to get the ball. I want the ball. And I'm sure he's going to throw it to him a ton, but he's going to let him hear it if he doesn't. Now, Vrabel, you would think can be a nice, work with AJ, and I'm sure he will. However, when AJ was in Tennessee with Vrabel, he wasn't this AJ Brown. He was a second-round draft pick who made 1 Pro Bowl in 3 years. He was just emerging, but he wasn't viewed as an elite receiver at that point yet. And now he's a superstar, and we know what his number one item on his agenda is. Stats. Yeah. It's not the Super Bowl.
Dominating the opponent.
Yeah. Numbers, right. All right? It's not the gold jacket is what he's playing for. So, I think they got better. I think Baltimore, the Chargers, and the Bills are better. Like, I put them ahead of the Patriots right now. But, I would expect – I think they do have a chance, though, to win the division. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
A chance.
Wilds, you don't need to put out anyone else's candle to make yours.
No, go ahead.
Don't make fun of the Ravens or the Bills or the Chiefs. Let's talk about the Patriots. I think the Patriots actually have accomplished 3 of the 4 things that I wanted to accomplish. Okay? Number 1, as you said, we needed a number 1 wide receiver. We got it. We had last year, Stephon Diggs had 1,000 yards, and it was over the moon. A.J. Brown had 1,006 yards, and he was furious.
Yeah.
Before A.J. Brown, the last 1,000-yard receiver the Patriots had was Julian Edelman in, I think, 2019.
Before Stephon Diggs.
Before Stephon Diggs. So it's been a long gap. We were thrilled with Stephon. He's obviously better than Stephon. That has been accomplished. 2, we upgraded the line. That was a major issue in the playoffs.
Yeah, you did.
He was sacked. Drake May was sacked 21 times. It was a record. Bad. Will Campbell's his knee is fixed.
And he's moving.
Healthy. No, he's not moving positions. Elijah Vera Tucker's there. Drafted Caleb Lomu. Hopefully that goes well. As to the Super Bowl hangover part, and I didn't dig into every one, but I just kind of found some big things. 1, in continuity with the coaching staff. Vrabel gave us a little bit of a scare, but he is still there. Josh McDaniels is there. Terrell Williams is moving to assistant head coach. Zach Kerr is there. Eagles, when they lose Shane Steichen, supernatural funk. 49ers lose Saleh. That they get a little bit funkier on defense. The other part about Super Bowl hangover, and I don't know, this is just a knock on wood thing, it's just injuries. We saw the Chiefs get derailed by injuries. 49ers get derailed by injuries. That's like CMC's usage. Yep. If we're healthy, I feel like we're okay. I don't know why all of a sudden the Ravens got a lot better. We did beat the Ravens last year. The Bills, we beat the Bills every year, but maybe they got a little bit better with DJ Moore.
Coach,
And Chiefs are the Chiefs.
You beat the Bills every year. What do you mean?
We always split with the Bills.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to split. We've split with the Bills since the Mac Jones era.
Okay. I didn't realize.
Maybe not every year.
I didn't.
We split, but we're not afraid of.
No, I don't think, and I don't think you should be. Here is the thing that I am not trying to harp on last year's schedule, but if you remember, KW, when we were doing our preseason picks, you made I vividly remember you talking about how many games the Patriots were favored in. Do you remember? It was crazy. It was like 14 games.
Yeah, but our over/under was only 8.5.
Right. You were bothered by the fact that they were not bothered, but you thought it was curious that your over/under was so much lower than the games you were favored in.
I turned out being right.
And you did. You were right that the games you were favored in was more indicative of your success than over/under.
Yeah.
Throw up the Pats schedule again, because here is the tough truth about this upcoming schedule. You guys are favored in all your home games. And every single game that's not in Gillette, that is not against the Jets or the Dolphins, you're underdogs. You are underdogs against Seattle, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Chicago, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Lions in Germany. So you go from having a season where you're favored in almost every game to a season where you're underdogs in almost half of them. That to me,
that's
7.
Yeah, so I mean, 10-7, I wouldn't be like.
But then the
conference,
out. Right? But then, then the conference definitively doesn't run through you, because the conference doesn't run through a 10-17.
I'm just saying, I'm not gonna 10-7.
10-7, you would.
I'm not gonna be
sign up.
No, I'm just not. I'm not gonna I'm not signing up for it. I'm not gonna have a nervous breakdown.
You might not make the playoffs. If you go 10-7 and miss the playoffs, you're not upset.
No,
I'm
and AJ's a year older.
What do you want me to say?
No,
14-3. I'm saying if we're I'm not gonna freak out if we're at 10-7.
So then that answers right. And by the way,
is that a 14 win? I think 14 wins with this schedule would be wild.
It would be incredible.
No, but I think that I don't. For the record, tell me if I'm wrong. It's not the toughest schedule in the league. It's not.
No, it's like it's actually kind of like middle
a little above average in difficulty.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, there'll be a 13 or 14 win team with a schedule as tough, if not tougher than that. And so the point, I guess, I think we're all on the same page. You just didn't, and so want to acknowledge it, that the Patriots have established themselves as a legitimate team. They're a legitimate year-over-year, depending on how big the pie is, contender. And as long as they have Drake May and Vrabel and they keep adding smart moves like A.J. Brown, they're going to be in the mix. In the mix it might go 10-7, and it's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
That is a big leap from being the definitive favorite in the conference, which is what I think Brew and I were responding to.
Yeah, look, I would like to say that we're the definitive, defending AFC champions. I want to have a heavy dose of reality check before I get on my high horse and start prancing around. At the same time, I'm not sure what we do poorly. I can point out a lot of flaws, and maybe there's one I'm just not thinking of, but the defense is solid. We can run the ball. We have a great quarterback.
The things you did.
Oh, my 3 out of 4 thing, we have to sign Christian Gonzalez. If Christian Gonzalez is as a long holdout or something,
I don't think that'll happen. I think
so either.
No, but I mean,
so secondary's good. I'm like, what's the big flaw of our team?
Well, last year was you guys didn't play well against the best teams, and you think it's going to be. I don't know.
We played well against the Chargers and the Broncos in the snow.
The Broncos to me weren't the best team when you played them.
Oh, we played. We played.
Gave you the ball.
That's fine. And so no,
they were the best defensive team I've ever seen in my life. Scored 3 touchdowns.
No, I don't think. Maybe you disagree. I don't think you guys played your best football against the best teams. A lot of that was the inability to protect Drake May. You are just assigning that as fixed in a way. That was the one thing on your checklist. You spent resources on it. Yeah. I don't know if it's fixed yet. The jump you're getting, I would think Brew and I would expect you to be getting a bigger jump going from Diggs to A.J. Brown than you would be expecting, because you were, as I think, the highest person in the national media on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
So I think it feels like you went from the 9th best receiver in football in your mind last year, Stephon Diggs, to the 6th best in A.J. Brown. You don't have them both.
Well, I don't know.
You lost one, got the other.
Maybe. I'm not writing off Stephon Diggs yet. Stephon Diggs and AJ's.
Wow. That'd be impressive.
No, Drake May's passer rating when he's target Stephon was out of this world.
Right, and you guys cut him.
Well, let's see if Drake.
I mean, that's what happened. I mean, if you bring him back, you bring him back. You cut him.
We'll see what happens.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you consider Drake a top 5 quarterback?
I want to see it more than 1 year. We've seen enough guys have one big year and then fall off, young guys. I think he can be, but I want to see it. That's the key for you guys.
Obviously winning the AFC. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, the Eagles lose their number 1 wide receiver. They get a 2028 first, a 5th next year, and a new start for Jalen Hurts. All right, not a lot of data on Jalen Hurts without A.J. Brown. Only 9% of the 9% of the plays last year.
He cooked without him, though.
But off field, he's 5-0 with a passer rating of 115. It's just a little slice. Do you expect Hurts to take a step forward or back without A.J. Brown?
Look, I think he'll be fine without A.J. I think their receiving core is still good. We'll see what the rookie Mekhi Lemon can do, but he's strong. He's in the slot. He can do stuff on the middle of the field. He can run after the catch. So you think he'd be pretty productive. They obviously added a few other guys, Hollywood Brown, Devontae's your number 1. I'm kind of expecting the Eagles to take a step back, not so much because of A.J., because I think the receiving core is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're asking Jalen to do a lot of other things. Like he's going to be under center a lot more with Sean Mannion as the OC. They want him to throw over the middle more than he has in the past. So I just think there are a lot of other things they're asking him to do. And if I don't know, I got to be honest, I'm not sure if he's going to take a burst forward or a step back. I just think if it's a step back, it's not because AJ's not there. I think it'll be a relief for him not to have somebody in your ear all the time, complaining, going to the media, sitting on the sideline, being a distraction, things like that. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be fine if he can make the adjustments they want him to make, and if the offensive line is improved a little bit over last year, and if Saquon can have another season. But I think he'll be fine without AJ. I don't think he'll miss him at all.
This is your guy, or is he still your guy?
You know what?
It
was a harder statistical story last year. I wonder if this is a question about scheme and throwing the ball, or is it a vibes question?
See, I think it's both. Go ahead.
The vibes have to be better. No matter any way you slice it, the vibes were bad last year. Just a lot of furrowed brow, a lot of, that just is not winning football. The other thing that kind of gets lost in the A.J. Brown story. Rushing yards last year for the Eagles. Well, I'll go all there. 2022, they were 5th. 2023, they were 9th. 2024, they were 2nd. They ran the ball for 179 yards a game. And then last year, they were 18th, 160.
Some of that, a little bit of that, most of that was Saquon going from one of the greatest years ever to a mediocre year. Yep. Some of that was Jalen not running as much.
Right. Yeah.
One of the reasons they were, when they were 5th in 2022, Saquon wasn't there.
Yeah. But they're a running team, and that opens it all up. So if that goes away.
Well, can he run like he used to? That is a big question.
Can he, and is he willing to? Right. So I agree with Brew that I don't know if he'll take a step forward or step back, but I do know that this will be a wildly important year to understand not only what actual level of quarterback Jalen Hurts is, but also how the Eagles actually feel about him. Because I think I was the most ardent that they should have traded him a year ago, A.J. Brown, and when they didn't trade him not a year ago, they're coming off Super Bowl. But they should have traded him at the trade deadline, that this moment the season ended, I said he can't be back on the team next year. I think they had to make that move. With that said, I am not certain making the move fixes the locker room, because there is a percentage of my brain that believes, man, A.J. Brown was just the mouthpiece for how a lot of people felt. And it seemed, and I felt that way before some of the reporting came out, and then there seemed to be, the long-form ESPN article about how the front office views Jalen, other things, where I do wonder, could vibes go in the wrong direction because either A, instead of one guy saying a lot, it's a lot of guys saying a little kind of passive-aggressive stuff, or if the locker room feels, no one in the locker room feels comfortable kind of releasing that tension valve by saying it, and it all just simmers the whole time. I'm not predicting that. I'm saying I think it is, if the whole locker room was Team Jalen, AJ wouldn't have been as popular as he was in the midst of it all. So I think that is a real aspect of this that has to be acknowledged as possibility. The more X's and O's piece is, the Eagles now, to me, for the first time since Jalen Hurts has been like the clear-cut, the guy there, have a good but not great supporting cast around him. They still have 2 first-round picks at receiver. They still have Saquon. They still have a good offensive line. It's still clearly above average.
And the defense still has
I'm only talking about the offense because I think overall roster, it's well above. It's a really good roster. But just on as far as personnel to help him, it's, it's the 9th best in the league. The offense outside the quarterback, whatever. I'm making up the numbers, somewhere in there. So you're going to get a fair gauge on Jalen Hurts when he's approaching when you would need a new contract, when he's approaching when the Eagles have in the past potentially pivoted. You're going to find out, and I think that's one of the reasons they wanted Sean Mannion to make him run a more almost sophisticated, new age NFL style offense. Be like, hey, at some point you're not going to have a future potential Hall of Fame running back. You're not going to have multiple in their prime first-round picks at receiver. You're not always going to have this great offensive line. Let's see what you can do with less easy buttons to see if we want you to be the guy for the next 7 years. I think all of that is going to come out this season, which is why I said yesterday that the Eagles have the biggest variance of any team in the league. They're the only team in the league that if you gave me the right odds, I would bet on them to finish with the best record in football. And if you gave me the right odds, I would bet on them to finish below 500. It has that wide of a variance where I think both of those are very viable outcomes.
I do think it's important for people to understand, including the Eagles, he's different. Like, he's not going to go out there and look like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He can win, but they're going to need the running game to be strong. And he's not going to throw for 290 yards a game. You know what I mean? So he can be successful. Yeah, as long as he's winning and the offense isn't as stagnant as last year, then that could be an improvement regardless of how high his numbers are.
Knicks are in San Antonio, game 1 tomorrow night. Spurs are favored, but history not on their side, bro.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because of the game.
Here's the scenario that helps New York. If you swept your opponent while the other side of the bracket went to 7, you won the NBA Finals 5 times. You lost twice. So, Brew, we'll start with you. Not necessarily with the who you got, more the why.
Well, both.
And how.
He could throw it. He could throw a monkey.
New York is kind of my hometown now.
Yeah.
I could definitely go with the Knicks.
And if they win, you still deserve credit.
According to the bylaws, I get to bask if they win. But no, I am sticking with the Spurs. I've been the Spurs guy
the whole
since
time.
Wemby entered the league.
This is true.
Right?
Yeah.
And been mocked for some of my takes.
Yep. You haven't been mocked
for saying they would win the West and get to the finals?
He went viral for saying, I think the quote was, Akeem Olajuwon's a phony baloney.
No. But now everyone agrees with me.
Right.
It's only Hakeem, who's awesome.
Yes.
It's a disappointment. Yeah. But anyway, I got the Spurs in 7. 7.
Wow.
And I said last week, and it's true, I'm more concerned about the Knicks entering the series. Now, obviously, as that series went on, I got more concerned about OKC. But I'm more concerned entering this series about the Knicks than I was about OKC. Maybe I'm overthinking the regular season matchups where Knicks were 2-1. But I like the Spurs for several reasons. One, I get it, the Knicks are more rested, and the Spurs not only had a tough 7 against OKC, but a tough 6 against Minnesota. But look, this is what you play for. I mean, forget fatigue, all right? And they did get 3 days rest, which I think meant a lot between Game 7 and Game 1 tomorrow. I think Wemby, now there were times obviously where he was awesome, and then sometimes where he was not disengaged, but not his motor didn't seem as high. I don't know if that'll continue or not, but I think he's just a problem for him. I think, one, he could get Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble.
That's a concern.
Yeah, if Cat guards him. And Mitchell Robinson, I fully expect to play. I think he'll be fine for the most part, but he's only going to give you 15 minutes or so a game anyway, right? And so if Cat gets in foul trouble, that's a problem. Now, Cat probably won't guard Wemby a ton. I think you'll see OG Anunoby on him at times.
Yep.
And then I think Wemby, it's on him, but he's got to exploit that size advantage. All right, so I think he's going to be tough for them offensively. And then defensively, the Knicks have lived in the paint in the postseason, almost 60 points a game in the paint. Obviously, Wemby can change that. And they'll try to say, well, Cat can draw him outside. I don't think Wemby's going to spend a ton of time on Cat.
Guarding
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Josh Hart's
got to hit.
Me? I'm the unanimous defensive player is going to be guarding me. He said
right. I mean, he's going to have to be hitting his threes, because if not, Wemby can roam and then wreak havoc and keep the Knicks out of the paint. Finally, Nick, I think they have got defenders that can make it tough on Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
Stephon Castle obviously gave his SGA some problems. Dylan Harper. And, they got a host of guys, so Wemby backing him up. So I think for those reasons, I like the Spurs.
So I don't know if really anybody gives Jalen Brunson a ton of trouble. Certainly some more than others. But I think Jalen Brunson, particularly in the playoffs, particularly in big moments in the playoffs, has earned my ultimate respect. Also, I would like to correct the record on something.
Okay.
Have my playoff picks been good? No.
Not bad, though.
No,
one's been
But
bad.
I have been smeared with this flip-flopper label that the record does not reflect. I have picked before the playoffs the Celtics to win the championship.
Okay.
They lost in round one. I did not pick another champion until we were the day before the start of the Eastern Conference Finals, and I said the Knicks are winning the title. I have 2 champion picks on my record, and I only had to switch because my team lost in round one. I had no other choice. Now, have I picked different series? Of course. It's part of the show. We're picking things right now. I'm going to be held to account for being able to see the future? Sorry, I'm not Oz the mentalist. I
got to be honest, though, Nick.
Yes.
I with all due respect,
Here we go.
I think Knicks fans would be much happier if you're about to say Spurs.
I'm switching?
Yeah, I mean, it's there hadn't been a great postseason.
I've got good news for Knicks fans. I'm with you to the end. Knicks in 6. Listen, Brew alluded to it, and again, the sample size is tiny, but they did play 3 times this year. Mm-hmm. One of them was a regular season game plus something, because it was for a trophy. Even if it's a small trophy or a banner they won't hang.
The Spurs feel some kind of way about
like
that.
that.
It was something.
Get back.
Right, for sure. And we know Wemby started a lifelong blood feud with Chet over a tournament loss. Maybe he's going to do the same.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to start having an issue with Cat. He should.
With Cat?
So this was what their
Chet.
head-to-head season matchup went. And again, the paint points per game, the Knicks found a way. Yes, they hit threes. There's no doubt about it. But 46 paint points per game, they found a way. The other piece of it, and this is where the 9-day layoff for the Knicks, is rest versus rust for the media as well.
Yeah.
I think they are back to being a touch underrated because it's been a while since we saw them just dog walk somebody. But every team in NBA history that was on this type of heater going into the finals, you know what they did? Won the damn finals. And the last 3 won the finals easily. The 87 Lakers won the finals in 6. And again, my pick is Knicks in 6. I do not think there's going to be an easy series. But the Knicks did just complete, statistically, the most dominant month of playoff basketball ever. They are playing a brand of offense where simply shutting down Jalen Brunson doesn't necessarily achieve the defense's goal. They are Mitchell Robinson's pinky notwithstanding, I think, pretty clearly the healthier team. They don't have, nobody else is dealing with nagging stuff. OG missed that time, but looked totally fine coming back from it. The advanced numbers that I'm not even going to show them because I don't know that I even totally buy/understand them exactly. They swear that over the last 2 years, nobody has had more success guarding Wemby than OG, which is
he did a great
noteworthy.
job.
And then there is this element of Wemby over the course of the postseason. You know where I feel like the fatigue has shown up? His rebounding. So, first 10 games, 14 rebounds a game. We threw out the 2 games he barely played. The last 5, 7. Cat has been a tremendous rebounder, and on a per-minute basis, Mitchell Robinson is an excellent rebounder.
Especially on the offensive end.
Right, and so all of those things tilt to me, the Knicks, and I do think that there is an emotional toll for the Spurs that will show up in Game 1, and I expect the Knicks to steal home court immediately. I think that there is, it seems like the type of story you would love. The level of emotion Wemby showed after winning the conference finals hit my radar when you compared it to the Knicks.
Too much?
It was just, I understood it. They're all so young. They've never been to the finals. The Thunder, the defending champs, it was a 7-game series. For the Knicks, there wasn't really place for the emotion. They won that series in Game 2. You know, and so, but it did feel like a catharsis for the Spurs that I don't know they're going to be able to immediately get up to speed for Game 1.
I think Game 1's going to be incredibly telling. Like, if the Knicks look like they've been looking and beat them, I'm not even saying 25 points, but beat them fairly handily by 10 or so, 12, then that could be tough.
What speaks to your favor, though?
If the Spurs look great and the Knicks, they nullify a lot of what the Knicks have been doing.
Yeah.
But remember, the last time the Knicks had this type of layoff, for the first 40 minutes of that game, they looked awful.
Yeah.
The last time the Knicks had a giant layoff and the other team was coming off an emotional 7-game series was Game 1 against the Cavs.
And
they're down 22 with 8 minutes left, and then the Knicks surge back. They would not be able to surge back against.
Right.
NBA.
So who you got?
Knicks in 6.
Really? You just repeat what Nick said, or that you believe that's your pick?
That's what we got tickets to. NBA Finals history is a place where superstars shine and X factors etch their name into the history books. Andre Iguodala, Robert Horry, Steve Kerr, the player. Who is your X factor for this series?
Well, Cat, and maybe you view him as a star, so he's not an X factor. But I'm just saying he can't get silly fouls. Can't get an early. If he's guarding Wemby, don't get one of those early silly fouls. That's huge. And if they got a small on him, he's got to exploit him with his size. Now, he might do it occasionally, but he needs to do it more consistently if they put Julian Champagnie or somebody on him. But if you want to say he's a star, I'm going to say Josh Hart, because if Hart is not hitting the 3, now maybe they'll throw Shamet in if Hart's just off, but that'll hurt you defensively. If Hart is not hitting the 3 and he allows Wemby to kind of stay near the paint and roam, that's going to be a problem for the Knicks. And I'll give you one for each team. I think for the Spurs, it's Champagnie.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because it's a similar thing. He's going to have to hit the 3. And so, because I think Cat may be on him. They're going to try to hide Cat and Brunson. Can you hide them both? I think that's a problem for the Knicks. Because the Spurs, when they first played the Knicks early in the season, Nick, they weren't that good of a three-point shooting team.
They were still starting Barnes, right? That was before they made that
I think
change.
One of the games Champagnie may have started. But yeah, Champagnie's been much better than Barnes. Champagnie's hitting 39% of his threes in the regular season. Josh Hart, by the way, only hitting 30% of his threes in the playoffs.
I disagree with you that, I disagree with you that Josh Hart has to hit threes. I think if Josh Hart hits threes, the Knicks win. The Knicks will win every game Josh Hart has a hot shooting night.
Yeah.
I think that the Spurs are going to give Josh Hart shots. I think a lot of nights he'll turn them down and they'll try to find better shots. Like, that is a piece of it. But I don't look at this as oh, if Josh Hart's not hitting threes, they can't win.
Well, I think that, like you said, as long as he has some games, he don't have to hit them all 7 games or whatever.
He had one awesome shooting game in the previous.
He's wide open.
Like 2 weeks.
That was like the plan.
Yeah.
And Cleveland's a bad defensive team too.
If I have to say a player, my player is OG, because I do think OG is going to be the one guarding Wemby.
Yeah.
And I think that OG is he didn't make it. I don't know if you voted him or not.
I voted him second team.
Yeah, I mean, he's first team all defense caliber, in my opinion. Certainly an all defense caliber
he didn't make
guy.
second team?
No, I was going to say he didn't make first team.
Oh, okay.
He's long, he's strong, and I do think I could see him pushing Wemby out a little further than the Spurs would like him to be, and I do not think he is a guy that, as a rookie, when he was with the Raptors, I remember listening to a Zach Lowe podcast, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it was, talking about how he had talked to someone in the Raptors front office, and they're like, yeah, we drafted this guy because we think he can guard LeBron James. Peak LeBron, rookie OG Anunoby, good luck, good luck to him. So he's been through the playoff fires. Wemby's not gonna be able to, I think, wage psychological warfare on him the way he did Chet. If it doesn't have to be a player, KW, my answer is the Madison Square Garden crowd.
Oh, that's good.
Which is home court advantage when we were kids mattered so much more in sports than it feels it matters now.
Right.
It felt like buildings had life. They intimidated refs. They intimidated other teams, all of that. I don't know, with all the music that's played and everything that's going on, if that still exists in modern sports. If it does, it will be this Knicks crowd in the first NBA Finals in this city in a quarter century.
I can't wait.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.